research and discovery. Futuris.
What we have here is the Viper film stream camera. So that is the first generation of digital film camera. Before that, that was all celluloid based. Now it's digital, and we developed a storage for that also, so that it's completely independent on power currents.
Cheaper and more reliable equipment for the European film industry, that's the goal of IP Racine, an international research project. Scientific and industrial organisations from 8 European countries are working towards a European digital cinema from scene to screen.
Studios from Hollywood imposed their own view, and then Europe found that it was really worth to have some kind of addition to that standard that answers our European concerns for more multicultural and more multilingual cinema.
Digital cameras, formerly scorned by filmmakers because of their inferior quality, are becoming more and more advanced. At the same time, the electronic components are becoming cheaper, making professional editing equipment affordable, even for small studios.
People can use off-the-shelf 10 gigabit Ethernet switches from the network market for that.
Digital production makes it easier for the filmmakers to create complex video and sound effects, essential in today's cinema.
One distinctive feature of using many cameras is that they give you information about three-dimensional structure. Having that information available, we are able to create time-slicing effects in a much more economic, much more easy way.
The positioning of the cameras and the props in the studio can be calculated using specially developed algorithms. Computers then use the data to create a realistic virtual 3D space, giving total creative freedom to filmmakers. Stereoscopic cinema is one of the most commercially attractive applications of digital methods. The technology has been greatly improved in recent years. Using special glasses, viewers can now experience realistic 3D shows without side effects such as headaches or motion sickness.
All the big cinema studios in Hollywood are certain that 3D is the thing that will bring audiences back to cinema and keep them interested for at least the next 10 years. The big animation studios like Disney have announced that they'll be producing only the 3D cartoons to distribute both in regular cinemas and 3D equipped ones starting from this year.
What about home viewing? 3D cinema uses special silver screens which are too expensive for home use. But as a 3D TV project coordinator explains, stereoscopic TV is just around the corner. Stereoscopic displays use the same principles as stereo cinema, showing slightly different images to the left and right eye. Stereo TV sets are due in the shops in a year or so. They don't require special glasses, but they have other limitations.
It will pretty much look like a TV if you're not using it, but if you turn it on, you'll have some images flowing into the room and going back of the TV. However, to see the proper 3D effect, you have very little freedom. In your depth, you cannot move too close or too far away.
It's impressive, but still far from real 3D. Creating a moving holographic image like the famous ghost images from sci-fi movies is still impossible, but work is ongoing to make it so. Potential uses range from medical imaging and museum exhibitions to telepresence and video games.
My prediction is within 8 to 10 years, we'll have lab prototypes of decent holographic TV. The TV set will be something like a coffee table in the middle of the room. People will be watching it freely without any bad feeling like a motion sickness or whatever. There will be a ghost-like image coming up from that coffee table. You can move around freely. You can watch it from the back side or from the front side if you wish. And that will be the TV of the future.
At present, the digital revolution in the industry is making film rolls obsolete. The movies can now be shipped to theatres on reusable hard drives. Each of the digital copies can have several soundtracks and subtitles in different languages. That gives the cinemas greater flexibility.
Here we compress the films for distribution, we encode them for security, and we generate the encryption keys for different cinema theatres which receive the digital copies so that they'll be able to play those films on their screens.
Distributors are aware that tapeless technology increases the risk of piracy. A military-grade encoding is being used to protect a digital movie file from being copied on its way from the studio to the theatre.
It's an encrypted picture because in the theatre the movie is encrypted to avoid the piracy. Only a digital projector can decrypt the picture and display it correctly.
Today, only 350 theatre screens in Europe are being equipped for digital projection, much less than in the US. But the boom is about to come, and within 5 years, digital projectors will be installed in 8,000 European cinemas.
Obviously, picture quality is one of the main advantages of digital cinema. But in addition to that, there's a number of advantages to the industry because it makes it, on the one hand, easier and more cost-effective to distribute the movies, whereas the cost of a 35mm copy, for example, was quite high in the past. So distributing digital copies at this point in time is much cheaper.
It may become even more cheaper in the future when shipping of hard drives will be replaced by direct streaming of movies from the distribution centres to the theatres via satellite or fibre optic cables. Live digital streaming will make it possible for cinema-goers to watch the events happening somewhere in real time, like concerts or sports events, on a high-quality big screen with surround sound and even stereo effects. That will change the cultural and social role of the cinema in the very near future.
Someone said that this is the biggest revolution since the introduction of sound to cinema, which is quite something.
The future of cinema will certainly be digital. The revolution has started and it clearly will continue. The prices will continue to fall with growing numbers of digital cinema theatres. We hope that more than half of the cinemas in the world will be digital in 10 years from now.